They have their choice. You don't have to have guns, but if you want to stand the fear of with what's coming at you, because you can't argue with a gun. But if people want to not have them, they have a choice. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people are afraid of guns to start with before they ever, but I'm not. So I respect all my guns. And I respect people who don't have them too.
It's not necessary for everyone to be armed, but it's important for a citizenry to be armed. So there will be some people that just aren't comfortable to be around guns, but even those people don't put a sign on their front window that says this house has no guns. That's an open invitation to criminals.
With a permit, you can go downtown and get a permit and carry one. So you have to use a weapon and know how and take care of it and being safe with it.
If we're addressing young people that have grown up with television and all of the propaganda and guns are just scary things, I would really encourage you to, if you have a friend who knows something about guns, or if you don't, just go out to a local gun range and they'll loan you a firearm, and they'll show you how to safely shoot it and explain how it works and what things are about, and it'll take some of that fear away that people have. We need to have a proper respect, but we shouldn't be afraid of something that has protected our nation for hundreds of years.
But I know that they have no business saying to me, I have no right to protect myself. There's too many bad people in this country. And the prisons are overcrowded, and they're starting to let more and more criminals out because they can't afford to house them anymore. So if they can't afford to house them, and they're going to let out 50-some thousand criminals out onto the streets in times of bad economic troubles, that's just throwing gasoline on a fire. So I would suggest, since they're going to be letting somewhere around 58,000 criminals on the streets of, some parts of this country, then I would say you better get a gun. You better learn how to use it in a tight situation too. So, because people are going to be hungry and out of work, upset. I mean, already banks are being robbed more and more.
Then I put it in right here, and I just put it in right here, and then it's ready to fire. If you'd have had guns, if you'd have been able to have guns in Russia, you would have been more. They wouldn't have been able to come into your house and take you at will, do anything they want to. They have full control of you. So without guns, the United States wouldn't be the country it is today. Let me tell you what I just found out the other day. You've heard of FEMA. That's what it is, FEMA. FEMA today, FEMA has 57,000 sites in the United States that are prepared for concentration camps. And in some of these, they have the capability of putting people to death in. They want to control, eventually want to control the people and their thought of the country. Anybody that comes against the country, they'll put them in a concentration camp. That's what's coming. Now that's not from me, that's on the internet, and I haven't been able to search it because I just found it out. Even police officers, my police officer friend across the street didn't know that, but a police officer told him that that's what was in the works.
We are living in a state now where the police forces are being trained like the military, and so and they're heavily armed now with automatic weapons and everything. So because of gun regulation, you see, we are outgunned They allow us to have semi-automatics, but they don't allow us to have automatics, which isn't a level playing field, see. What we need to do, though, is change the laws so that the government fears the people. So we can have automatic weapons if they're going to have automatic weapons. Then they will be afraid to come in your house like that for fear of getting killed themselves. Okay, but at this point, there's not a lot of fear in these people. They don't fear us. We fear them. You know, that's the state of things now. We're no longer in a free country. We are now in a pseudo beginnings of a Soviet Union, police state type tyranny.
The best way to reverse that trend is to be vigilant in your own home. Make sure that your children understand the proper use of guns. Have, as I outlined earlier, the weapons that you need to protect your family or yourself in whatever situation you're in. I would encourage people to belong to the National Rifle Association or Gun Owners of California. We don't have time in our busy lives to follow all the laws and all the things that are going on. They do. And when they ask you to write a letter or make a phone call, that's a good thing to do. And when elections come up, it's time to ask where the politicians stand on the Second Amendment. My personal life, I use three things to evaluate a candidate. Where are they at on taxes, where are they at on guns, and where are they at on babies? Because if they want to take my money, if they want to take my guns, or if they want to kill our children, they're not people that I think should be holding higher office. The issue of what's going to happen, it goes back to that quote of, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. The politicians, the people who want to have power, will always strive to remove the arms from the citizenry. That's going to be a battle that we'll have to fight in our generation, your generation, and your children's generation, if we want to stay free. So that's why groups like the National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of California, that I was the executive director of, are so important, because they help us to maintain those freedoms and those liberties. The short answer is yes, we have to continue to be vigilant, because they will continue to chip away and try to take arms away from the citizens.
What is gun control all about?
Steady hand, so you hit your target. You control your gun really well. That's what gun control is about. Yeah.
One of the things that they use for fear is that people can use guns and go out and shoot. Columbine, I think 11 people died, or down in Stockton 9 people died, and guns are bad because they can do that. And yet, to this day, the biggest tragedy that was committed by an individual was a young man that got mad at his girlfriend and went down to a bar in New York City with a gallon of gasoline and lit the building on fire. And it was a second floor nightclub, and I believe it was 123 people that died in that fire. So, angry people who do angry things can kill people, and I don't think we want to ban gallons of gasoline because this one man, abused what is for everybody else a tool. And it's the same with guns. Can they be abused? Yes, but the benefit, the 2.5 million times a year that they help to prevent crime, is so much more important.
You can't go against government as they turn around and come into your house one at a time and take it. Didn't they do that to you in Russia and make sure you check the same way? You didn't have any right. He'll overcome, and he'll have the last word.